Hello guys, in video suggestions I found Zulbit. He says, series idea, item review, stats and attributes, synergies with Nilah, effectiveness, example no worry every auto attack, gale force every 120 seconds, best case scenario, adaptivity, can you build it always, is it super situational, power spikes, collector very high, more mortars quite a bit lower I guess, survivability, running out of things to rate, I guess survivability is kind of important on Nilah, meta, will your team report to. Rate all of the points 1 to 10 and give the final, maybe average, maybe on the feeling rating. When I read that, the first thing came into my mind, there's a lot of builds right now, there's a lot of different items, so rating each item one by one not gonna be efficient. So right now, because it's season 14, there's a lot of build options, we're gonna be going through each and every single build, and I will give you a personal opinion of each of them. So what I waited for, let's get to it. Alright, so to make it easier, we're gonna be summarizing the Zulbit's idea and we're gonna be rating the builds from 1 to 10 and we're gonna be rating the following criteria: synergy with Nilah, effectiveness, adaptability, power spikes, and of course, really important, meta. Alright, so the first build that we're gonna be going through gonna be Voltic, Stormraiser, BT, LDR, and DD. Synergy with Nilah, great synergy between Voltic and Stormraiser. You're gonna be slowing down the enemies, you're gonna be making that pick, you're gonna make sure that the enemies can't escape you, especially in the meta when Senna exists and she can just run away from you quite easily. Stormraiser gonna help you with the synergy to make sure that you're sticking on the enemies quite well. So the synergy of a build would be quite nice for Nilah, quite nice. The synergy itself, I would give it 7 out of 10. Effectiveness. Yes, you're gonna be slowing down that one single target and you're gonna be running him down and dealing quite a bit of damage, right? Of course, you're gonna be really sticky on him and it's gonna be pretty hard for the enemy to escape you. But at the same time, if you're against someone like, let's just say, any awesome tank that currently there's currently a lot of, like basically in every single game there is a tank, well then you're gonna be tickling him and probably your team won't be able to kill it as well. So I would give effectiveness a 3 out of 10. Adaptability. Again, there's a lot of tanks currently, even though it would be quite nice in the laning phase theoretically, right? But also you're gonna be losing a lot of damage, so I would give 2 out of 10 to adaptability. Power spikes. At one item, you're gonna be really strong, but at the same time, you're not gonna have crit from Voltic, and Stormraiser doesn't do that much damage, and BT not gonna help you either that much. I mean, you can swap out BT for LDR against the tanker members, but let's be honest, the power spikes are pretty good at one item, but falls off quite heavily the more items that you build, because of course you're gonna be lacking that crit. So I would say power spikes would be a 3 out of 10. Meta. I don't see Voltic, Stormraiser, BT anymore, to be honest. That build kind of fell out of meta, so I would say it's a niche build and I would rate it as 2 out of 10. And the average score for this build is, drumroll please, 3.4 out of 10. Not the greatest build, but not the worst either. So what I waited for, let's review the second build. The second build was beloved by a lot of people. A lot of people enjoyed playing this build. The build is Collector, Ghostblade, LDR, Shilbo, BT or DD. This build is amazing because first of all, you're getting that Collector power spike. Collector is one of the best first items for Nilah. It gives her so much damage. The lethality synergizes her kit so well. The crit, the lethality item that gives crit, oh my god, it's just literally a fairy tale for Nilah. Like, Collector is an amazing item. Ghostblade gonna give you so much movement speed. You're gonna be running around, getting picks easily. LDR on top of that. Oh my god, you're gonna be melting everyone because you're getting lethality from Ghostblade, you're getting lethality from Collector, you're getting lethality from Sudden Impact, and you're gonna be literally running around with a lot of movement speed and just killing everyone. And then Shield BBT gonna give you that sustain, and enemies gonna have hard time actually killing you. So what are we waiting for? Let's rate the build. So synergy with Nilah. Synergy with Nilah. Collector is an amazing item. The movement speed, Nilah loves movement speed. Nilah loves the movement speed. It feels amazing to actually play this build. And the synergy between Nilah, I would say 8 out of 10. It feels amazing when you get a Collector Ghostblade, and if you're snowballing LDR on top of that, you're just gonna be literally melting everyone. Effectiveness. First item, 10 out of 10. You're gonna be melting, you're gonna be doing great. Getting another Dirk, oh boy, it's gonna be fun, right? You're running down the enemies, no problem, right? So you're gonna be having a lot of lethality, and you're gonna be melting the enemies. LDR gonna help out a lot as well, especially against tankier members, because let's be honest, you're missing out a little bit of crit. The biggest downside for this build is you're missing out that crit and sacrificing the crit for the movement speed. So just because you're sacrificing the crit, I would say the effectiveness would be 7 out of 10. Adaptability. Collector, of course, the greatest item, right? You rush it, you execute everyone, you get that big money, you carry a game, right? Ghostblade gonna give you so much movement speed, you're gonna be catching up with targets easier, and you're gonna be in quite good spot. So for adaptability, I like it, but again, you're losing out on that crit, so I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. Power spikes. One item power spike is amazing. After Collector, you're gonna be again melting them, right? After you get a Dirk, it's gonna be amazing early game, but you're gonna be falling off in mid to late game. So you're sacrificing some mid to late game power spikes for the early game. So power spikes, I would say a solid 6 out of 10 as well. And for a meta, it's not a meta build, let's be honest guys, like we don't see many people going Collector Ghostblade LDR anymore, but it's a truly solid build, and I would recommend going for this build in certain scenarios when you're already really ahead and you want to snowball the game even harder, and you just want to have that extra movement speed because you're struggling to catch up to enemies even with a ghost. So I would say a 4 out of 10 for the meta. And the total score for this build is 6.2 out of 10, which is quite good to be honest, so feel free to give it a go and see how it goes in your games. Another build that we're gonna be reviewing gonna be Hubris, Collector, LDR, Navori, BT or DD. This build is amazing because of course you can get Hubris stacks, you can get extra AD, and you can take over a game way easier. You can also switch out the Hubris for Collector if you feel like you need that early power spike a little bit more, right? So you can go Collector Hubris and then LDR, and you're gonna be stacking that. Magi is basically for AD champions, right? Of course, Hubris is not that strongest part right now. I mean, it's a solid item, but take consideration everything, like a Ghostblade would be a little bit a better option, but nevertheless, let's rate the build. Synergy with Nilah. Synergy with Nilah is amazing, of course. Collector, lethality, Nilah loves that, right? Hubris is gonna help you stack out for more AD as well, and if you get that single kill in the team fight, oh boy, you're gonna be slapping hard, especially when you're snowballing the game. So when you're snowballing the game, the build gonna feel amazing. When you're behind, let's be honest, it's not gonna be as good because you're not gonna be getting Hubris stacks, you're gonna be behind, you're being lethality, you're building for early game, and you're not gonna be in a great spot. So for synergy with Nilah, Nilah loves lethality, but at the same time it doesn't give movement speed. Double lethality item is gonna give you a big power spike early, but it's gonna be falling off in mid to late game. So I would say synergy with Nilah 5 out of 10. If you're snowballing, it's gonna be amazing. If you're behind, it's gonna be not an option. Effectiveness, again, if you're gonna be stacking that Hubris, if you're gonna get a lot of Hubris stacks, you're gonna be slapping really hard and it's gonna be the greatest time in League ever. But if you're behind and you're struggling quite a bit, I mean, let's be honest, Hubris is not gonna help you that much. So I would say effectiveness would be close to 4 out of 10. Adaptability. Of course, adaptability depends on matchups, right? If you have a good matchup, you can go Collector Hubris and you can literally just take over the game. You deal extra damage to your turrets because of lethality. You deal insane amount of damage to enemies as well because, of course, lethality is broken, lethality is busted right now, and you're gonna have a great time. But at the same time, you're gonna be sacrificing your mid to late game power spikes because you're gonna be weaker. Of course, Hubris doesn't have crit, no crit, Nilah scales a little bit worse and deals a little bit less damage, so you have to snowball this build. So I would say adaptability 3 out of 10 because there's not gonna be many good Nilah matchups at the same time where you're gonna be snowballing the game really hard, so it's not gonna be that optimal of a build to go Hubris. Power spikes. 1 item power spike is amazing, 2 item power spikes are really good, like 2 lethality items into LDR, you're just gonna be melting everyone, but the problem is, again, the crit, right? So of course, I would give the power spike 5 out of 10, we go for a middle, because the thing is, like, if you're snowballing, it's gonna be amazing, if you're behind, it's not gonna be that great. Meta. How often do we see Hubris Nilah? Let's be honest. We do not see Hubris Nilah that much, right? There's definitely better options. I'm not saying like this is the GOAT build, like you go this build every single game. Definitely not. Definitely not, right? We definitely don't go for this build every single game, but it's a nice, fun way to play Nilah, let's be honest. If you're a Hubris addict, it's gonna be 10 out of 10, right? It's always gonna be meta for you because you love to have that huge slab from a Hubris stack, so you love to stack people and have a cool statue of yourself. But otherwise, let's be honest guys, the meta is not that favorable for an item. I would give it a 2 out of 10. And we get a solid score of 3.8 for the Hubris build, which is a little bit higher than I expected, to be honest, because let's be honest, a Collector Hubris, like, it's a really niche item. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Feel free to let me know, would you like to see more build reviews like this, and what builds would you like me to review the next? And of course, if you enjoyed this kind of video, leave a like, and if you didn't enjoy this kind of video, leave a dislike and leave a comment below why you didn't enjoy this kind of video, what would you like to change about these kind of videos, and leave me suggestions for the future videos as well. Thanks for watching guys, and have a nice rest of your day.